Thanks for joining us for Workday Now for Human Capital Management. Workday Now is one in a series of on-demand 30-minute overviews that showcase how Workday is different by design and how we're really built for the future. Workday Now overviews are available across the entire product suite, including topics under human capital management, financials, and technology. My name is Christine Ferguson with the Pre-Sales Enablement team here at Workday, and for the next 30 minutes, I'll be your host. So let's go ahead and get started. It's no secret that the business landscape is changing at an alarming rate. Change is constant, whether it's a reorg, a merger, an acquisition, and all of these things are daily events, all having to do with change. And not only is the business changing, but how we work is changing as well. We are more mobile, we're more global, we're just more demanding of our own technology. So we expect that our business systems are going to behave like our consumer apps. They're going to be easy to use, they're going to be user-friendly. Now, our business landscape is changing too. People are staying in the workforce a lot longer than ever, and for the first time in our history, we now have 4 very different generations that are all at work together. And finally, the labor pool is changing. So yes, there are more and more contingent workers, but we're also seeing a lot more temporary workers and a lot more part-time workers looking for more flexible kinds of schedules to have a better work-life balance. So as a result of this, the success of the new HR organization is really going to be defined by our ability to manage an environment of constant change, to really understand the new needs of the workforce, and to really deliver a skill set that will allow us to align with the organization's business objectives. Well, HR can't be successful without the right tools, and it makes everyone's life challenging when all of your tools are in different systems. So ask yourself how many times you think you might be stored at your company in different systems. Ask yourself how many systems you need to access to actually get your job done. Today, we need access to information real time. We're an instant satisfaction society, and with multiple point solutions that need to be tied together with complex integrations, real time is really challenging to be part of that equation. So to really be successful, you really need one global system of record for your business. With Workday, we provide one global solution that really gives you visibility across your entire business. We're really focused on user adoption and the user experience and really meeting people where they work, whether they're working on a mobile device or a tablet or a desktop. We're also focused on one system for enterprise collaboration. HR is everyone's job, whether it's providing feedback to a colleague or to a mentor or a coach, maybe suggestions, recommendations for job opportunities, or even participating in an interview process or simply an approval. It's critical that everything works the same way. And finally, built-in business intelligence that includes reporting for you. And not just reporting, but also the ability to take action from your reports. Taking a look at insights across your workforce, looking across fits and gaps in alignment overall with corporate strategy, and really the ability to look at the financial impacts of HR initiatives that you have on the go. So one system for your enterprise. Now, what does this mean for all of you? Well, over the next 25 minutes, we're really going to focus on giving your organization insight and global visibility to really make better business decisions. We're also going to talk about growth and enablement, one system to help the organization grow, and a system that can enable managers to be more effective with feedback and development, and help employees understand what they need to work on next so they can continue to contribute in a meaningful way, but also stay engaged and also stay challenged so that they know that there's development opportunities there. And finally, we'll talk about one system that's built to support change, really allow HR business partners the ability to configure and update the rules of how you're doing your business. You can fold in a merger or add on an acquired entity or simply update a business process without any kind of IT involvement. So in today's environment, speed wins. So keeping up with the pace of change is how we're going to measure our success. So let's take a look at Workday in action through different user experiences. First, we'll look at an executive on a mobile device. Then we'll also look at the application through the eyes of an employee who's looking for some growth opportunities. And finally, we'll wrap up as a business partner who's helping the business support change. And throughout all of this, we're going to focus on ease of use and the user experience. Scott Spradley, who's the CIO for Hewlett-Packard, 300,000 employees in 100 countries, said, "We chose Workday to make work easier. Why should it be easier to buy a book or a pair of shoes than it is to change your address at work?" And he's also been known to say, with Workday, we have a product that changes life for people at HP. So with that in mind, let's explore how Workday's changed life for our executives on mobile devices. Today we've logged in as Logan McNeil, our VP of Human Resources with our Global Modern Services organization. As an HR executive, Logan spends a lot of her time on the road and on the go, so she really relies heavily on her mobile device. Now, through our journey with Logan, you're going to see that Workday is designed just like the consumer apps that you use every day in your personal life. It's engaging, it's easy to use, and it's really one experience across the entire enterprise. No matter what area of Workday you're in, it always works the same way. Now, Logan's homepage surfaces some key information that she needs to manage her teams. Her enterprise inbox is really a consolidated view and a clear call to action for all the things that she needs, whether it's expenses, purchases, PTO, approvals, all of that in one place for her. She's also got everything else that she needs to manage her team. She's got insight into each individual, organizations, expenses, PTO, and of course she's also got dashboards as well. Logan's going to be meeting with her executive team later today to discuss the overall health of the workforce. Now, she has lots of dashboards. Dashboards are great because they tell us stories, and these dashboards are across the entire enterprise. Now, the team that she's working with is her executive team, and they have a few initiatives that they're going to be discussing. First and foremost is how are they moving forward in terms of achieving their headcount? Are they achieving the numbers that they want, and where are they according to plan? They're also looking at enabling business growth. So how are we in terms of building those teams? And of course, in terms of growth strategically, it's not just about hiring new people, it's also about keeping them engaged and retaining them. So we have some metrics around that too. Promotions, movement, are we keeping people in the development cycles? Now, the first thing we're talking about is in the top left-hand corner, how are we doing in terms of our headcount plan to pipeline? And you can see you're doing pretty well. So she's got a 100% target. She's at 97.8, so she has a little bit more to go. It's always those last percentages. But overall, we can see that some good things are happening here. When we look at enabling business growth, there's a lot of things that we want to focus on. Look at the average time to fill here. Now, that number has gone down. It was 75 days to fill a position before, and now it's 46. Now, the great thing about Workday is that we're also going to surface not just the number and the analytic, but we're also going to give us a little bit of insight into why. So seeing the benefits of rollout, our new recruitment system. So having everything in one place has made a difference. Mobile capabilities having a big impact for both hiring managers and of candidates. Of course, meeting people where they live. So now that's helping us shorten the recruiting life cycle, and we can see those reflected in the numbers. So great metrics there. So that's enabling our business growth. But I'm also concerned with the percentages and the breakout with our workers versus our contingent workers. I can see one number is down. We aren't hiring as many people as we want, and our contingent worker numbers are up. So let's take a look at that. When we dive in there, of course, we know we're achieving some of our worker growth due to our recruiting efforts, but let's take a look at the workforce mix itself. So when we look at that, we can see very clearly we've got about 90% of the organization, almost 91% are employees, and 9.1% are contingent workers. Now, when I want to look into the details behind the numbers, this is one of the great things about Workday. I've always got room to be able to ask more questions. So when we're using contingent workers, where are we using them? What are we using them for? So I want to take a look at that. So maybe the question that I want to ask is, what jobs are we actually needing more help in? And some of them make a lot of sense to me. Some I already know because we had some initiatives where we needed some external talent for business analysts. But something I wasn't really aware was our customer service reps. These are our first line of communication with our customers, and we needed to have some help there. Again, those numbers I knew about, some numbers I might have questions on. And the questions that I have are, where are we actually using these groups of folks the most? And I know in India and China we'd already put some requests out there, but the one that surprises me is actually Germany. I didn't know that we needed help there. So I'm going to tap into Germany. I want to see what the details are. And I can see that I've got one worker out there. She's a contingent worker located in Munich as one of our CSRs. Now, what's great about this is, of course, I'm not just looking at that in a report. I can drill down and I can look at the person as an individual. Lots of information on Dagmar Eriksson, but the piece I care about here is the timeline. How long has this been going on? Is this something new that I want to draw attention to because I wasn't aware we needed support in Germany? It looks like this is something that's been going on for 7 years. So this is something that I actually want to talk about when we talk about our headcount plan to pipeline and growing the business. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put that in my talent review. I'm also going to add that to my enabling business growth notebook. And what's great about this is that when I put information in a notebook, I can use it later for meetings. Now think about any meeting that you've ever been in, whether it's an executive meeting or a management meeting or a planning meeting. Wouldn't it be great to have all of the analytics that you need in one place and all the people that you want to talk about in one place? Well, that's exactly what a notebook does. So I can come back to my home page here and I can look at those notebooks. Again, I can configure them. I can also share them with key groups or key people who might be in the meeting. And I can see I've got some analytics here, some notebooks that are related to all of my own strategic business initiatives. So if I tap on my talent review notebook, I can see my workforce visibility. There's my mix that I wanted to talk about with my team, our headcount plan to pipeline. So not only are we looking at existing headcount, but we're also looking at those requisition openings. That's the great part about having HCM and recruiting all in one place. And of course, that's exactly why some of our key metrics have gone down. Shorter time to hire, more workforce has been hired. So again, some great numbers there. We just want to work on those requisition openings and figure out how we can fill those faster so that we can hit our target. And then of course, average time to fill, we knew that was down. We want to look at our workforce overall. Is there movement there? Is there potential for some of these folks in terms of their current performance? And then I also want to involve some key people like my recruiter, Jacqueline Desjardins, so I want to make sure she's involved with these new initiatives if we're going to be hiring some new folks. And there's Dagmar. Now Dagmar is the person I just added from Germany. She was my contingent worker, and here's where I can review that information. But after discussing things with my team, right from here, I can also take action. And maybe that action, if she is a contingent worker, is to end the contingent worker contract and hire her. Maybe we're going to change the job, but the choice is going to be ours. So as a planning and a management group, we can initiate the change right from within the notebook, right at the worker level. So everything is all there for me, all in one place. So within a few short minutes, we've really seen that Logan has had the ability to not only gain global visibility into the organization's health, but she's also been able to drill into the underlying data to look at additional context. She solved some problems, she identified some potential issues, and she had the ability to take action to mitigate risk as she uncovered it. So this is really where Workday brings the workforce data into one system, replacing any multiple or disjointed systems and manual workarounds that you might have. Real-time reporting and analytics help employees, managers, and leaders make better business decisions, and it's all at their fingertips whenever they need it on a mobile, a tablet, or their desktop device. And that's exactly the kind of experience that we want all of our Workday customers to have. MGM Resorts International has about 62,000 employees, and 6 weeks after full deployment, 94% of workers had logged into Workday. So you can see that it's all about meeting people where they live, when they're working or when they're at home, so that they can look at the information that they need. Now they have about 90% of their workers who are hourly, so paychecks can vary from pay period to pay period because of things like overtime and tips. And now their workers can log into their mobile device and see their paychecks whenever they want. And it's not just about employees, it's also about business leaders and management. Lee Dunn, the VP of HR Strategy and Measurement, shared with us, we wanted to get our leaders out of their offices so they could engage with their employees and with their guests. We can use it anywhere we want to. And that's really the power, is meeting people again where they want to use the device, anywhere they want in their workplace. Now that we've seen how easy it is to get work done on a mobile device, let's see how we've brought the simplicity of mobile to the desktop. As we log in as Marcus Severino, an individual contributor within our services organization, you'll see that Marcus has the same kind of easy to use, intuitive user experience on the desktop as Logan did on her mobile device. We've got configurable worklets that are presented here, and as we go through the worklets, we can see that in addition to providing Marcus with the ability to view and update his data, he's also got insight into things like an opportunity graph, which will really provide him with potential career paths and really keep him engaged as he learns more about some possible movement and next steps within the organization. We also can give employees insight into learning so that as an organization, you're really able to develop employees to help them close their talent gaps and at the same time really offer them personalized content recommendations based on not only who they are, but also what they're doing today. So we know from experience that we can't grow our business without growing our people. So let's go and take a look at some of the opportunities for growth for Marcus. We're going to go up into the top right-hand corner and take a look at one of Workday's universal features, the profile. So as I tap on someone's name, I can look at their home, I can go to their consolidated and enterprise inbox, or I can just view everything about the person. Now what's great about this is a 360-degree view of a person. And you can see here that I can look at everything from core information like jobs and contacts and personal details to more compensation-related areas like comp and pay and benefits, to more talent-related areas like performance and career and feedback. And of course, each one of these offers me the ability to drill down and look through different lenses. So let's go ahead and take a look at a professional profile and job-related information for Marcus. As I look along the ribbon at the top, you can see that I can look at various aspects of his job, things like his professional profile, the details of his job, manager history, and how many organizations he's been through, and even the timeline itself. The professional profile is a great way for him to have a personal and a talent statement, looking at different job histories, skills, and relevant projects that he's worked on, and a great way to start collaborating with other people. For instance, he can go and look at any one of his skill sets, click on the actual skill, and the system will present him with everybody else who also has that skill. So you can really kind of collaborate with other people with whom you have things in common. As we go back to our professional profile here, we can also drill in and take a look at things like his timeline. Just like we did when we looked at Dagmar's timeline when we were Logan on her mobile device, this tells us a story. So we're not just looking at all the transactions that happened in history, we're also looking at the transactions in context. So this tells me over the past 4 years, good things like he's had the same manager and he's been in the same location, but he's also been in the same job for the last 4 years as well. So he's really ready for a change. And of course, looking at that change, we're going to look at some opportunities for him as well. Now, of course, we can also look at things, not just the timeline, but also the worker history, and really look at our always-on auditing capabilities and drill down and see truly every transaction that has taken place. But we can also look at that by category, so we're just looking at job changes or movement or compensation changes. So you've got access to be able to see all of those different details. Again, you can slice and dice that any way you want. As we drill into career details, you can see here that this is all about development. So not only do I see his different career interests where I can see what his preferences and what he wants to do and some overall goals there, just expanding beyond his current role, but I also can take a look at any job interests that he has. And what's great about this is that I can go in here and say I'm interested in specific jobs. The system will not only tell me what open jobs there are for that particular area, but it'll also compare me to each one of those jobs. And here's the great value of having recruiting sitting right next to your HCM for both your internal and external employees. So if we wanted to take a look here, this will tell me not only about the posting, but if I want to click right down into the details, it'll also let me apply right from here to that particular job opening. So you can see here that I'm interested in an HR manager role, marketing specialist, product strategy, and if I want to actually look at my skills and my details compared to the requirements of the job, here's where I can really look at that side by side and I can see what I currently have and what the requirements are for that particular job. So again, I can bridge the gap and look at that delta. The main thing that interests me here is not just what jobs he's interested in, but I also want the system to be smarter than that. The system should recommend for me what my next move should be. So this is where machine learning really comes into play. And what the system's doing is it's looking at other people who've also been in similar roles and looking at what those transitions and those next career paths have been. So it's learning what those next moves might be. So I can see here that since he is a CSR, it's going to recommend that he moved to a senior customer services kind of a role. And I can see that 40% of people have moved here. And then I can see that some people have moved into management. Maybe global support was more in line with what he was looking at. Some people have become a marketing specialist, training, and associate consultants. Now, what I can see here as well is that when I tap into any one of these, it'll also tell me not just about the actual role, but it'll also tell me the qualifications for that and other people who are in this role so that I can reach out to them to communicate and say, I'm interested in this. What do you think that I need to do? So again, keeping people engaged, letting them know there's other opportunities out there for movement, and giving them some choices along the way. So now that we know all about the opportunities, let's see how Workday Learning can really help him leverage what development opportunities are out there so that he can help bridge that gap and have some great options for some movement within the organization. As we click on the Worklet for Learning, you can see that what's presented to him is really personal. Up at the top here, those are some company-wide initiatives for emergency response procedures and policies like harassment and discrimination that everyone needs to take. And right below that, it's all about Marcus. You can see that he can put in some preferences so that the system will serve up some of the customized learning for his dashboard. And we'll also see that courses that he's currently enrolled in. Some of them are pending approval, some of them are in flight, but he's always got insight into what his learning and development plans are. Now, if we wanted to take a look here out in preferences, the topics that are interesting him are more along the management line. So he did have some opportunities to become a senior CSR, but he really liked that idea of being a manager of global support. So here's where he's going to decide what area he wants to look at. In this case, he's going to take a look at some leadership opportunities. And immediately the system's going to go out and serve up to him some of the content that's out there for him. So whether it's engaging through storytelling, creativity, gamification to drive purpose, it's going to talk to us about what the interests are and what kinds of enrollment and courses are available for him. Also, based on his current job, there's also some recommendations, and the system will also tell us which ones are most popular. And of course, if he wants to take any of these courses, he can certainly tap into the course. We can see all about the course, the details. If the course has been rated, it's all about feedback and opinions, and so we can see the contacts and also the lessons underneath that. So it's not just one course. We can see that the lessons are out there. There's a toolkit that's out there, so he can enroll in that, get approved, and then that gets added to his course and development area. So we've seen through our journey with Marcus with Workday that we can really inspire our employees to stay engaged. They can discover what's next by delivering tools and insights like the opportunity graph to really empower people and challenge them to move forward in the organization as we support their career growth. And that's exactly the same kind of goals that TomTom has. TomTom's a global leader in navigation and mapping products with about 4,800 employees across 35 different countries. We need to offer our great talent access to tools that makes their learning, personal development, and career opportunities easily accessible and transparent. For this, we chose Workday. So we've taken a look at insight through the eyes of an executive on her mobile device, and we've taken a look at growth through the eyes of an employee who's looking for new opportunities within the organization, looking how to stay engaged, and looking for some learning opportunities to help him get there. Now we're going to talk about change and some of the tools that we're delivering for employees and for management to be able to impart change and support the ongoing change that is our life. Now Logan has just gotten a call from the executive management group to let her know that they need to reorganize the payroll department under finance. So let's go take a look at what it takes to actually do that. And before we do that, think about what that would take to do at your organization, to move a whole organization underneath another one. Well, we can see visually here that we've got some managers, we've got some individual contributors, and we also have insight into the organizations themselves. So as I scroll down, I can look down at human resources and I can see each one of these areas. I know I've got operations, services, and planning under there, and there's our payroll department. Now what's great about this is I can do this right from the org chart. I'd simply click on the organization itself. It's going to give me a preview of everything that I'm impacting, and I'm also going to be able to look at organizational self-service. Now, just like you would expect for an employee, a manager, or an executive, I should be able to do this myself, and of course, I can. So in this case, I can change who they're reporting up to, or divide up the organization, or even just move workers around. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and assign a new superior. In other words, payroll is going to roll up to somebody else other than human resources. Now, of course, that's the what is happening. But I also want to take a look at when I want it to happen. It might not be happening until the first of the year, but I can decide that on the fly as I'm putting the change in. Now what's great here is I can go ahead and submit the change. I'm going to decide who are they rolling up to. It's not HR services anymore, it's finance and administration. So I can go ahead and select that from the pick list, put in any comments that I need to, and submit it. Well, that only took us a couple of minutes. So now our reorg has taken effect. And the way that I know that is that I've got insight into the details and the process itself. Now we had seen in our first scenario that Logan had taken a look at a timeline to give her context. She always had history of her contingent workers. We also saw through the eyes of an employee their timeline and all the history. Well, there's a timeline on everything in Workday. We have always on auditing. So we've always got insight into the process itself of what happened, who was involved, and when did it take place. And this is no different. We know that we did a reorganization, so we can see all the things that happened here, and we've also got access to see the results right on the fly. So right from here, I can click on the org chart and I can see the new change. Here's the finance and administration group, and right underneath that now we have the payroll department. What's also great about this is that I haven't just changed the reporting relationships, I have also affected reporting itself. Because I said that was only happening as of today, if I ran reports as of yesterday, payroll simply wouldn't be there. So if I went into, as an example, finance and administration, took a look at a related action at some of the reports I could run. Maybe I wanted to take a look, for as an example, as compensation. Maybe I wanted to take a look at the compensation summary in this case. Of course, this could be a staffing report, movement. In this case, we're looking at compensation. We're asking the system, as of today, what does finance and administration look like? We'll go ahead and hit OK, and the system's going to present us with all the totals, including, right down here at the bottom, our payroll department. Great, so I know that that was included as of today. And of course, if I went ahead and ran this as of yesterday, I would have very different results. Scrolling down, no payroll department. So you can see here in a couple of quick clicks, I was able to take the call and make the change, and then of course decide when I wanted to make it and report on it immediately. So in a few short minutes, Logan's been able to not only update that org chart, but also the underlying data as well without having to rely on any other groups. That's the goal here, is to really empower employees to be able to make those changes themselves, because the system is always on auditing, so we always know what changes have been made. And this is just one of many examples of Workday's powerful configuration capabilities that truly allow customers to own their change, own their structures in real time with no batch jobs or interfaces in between, and they can own the change. And owning change is critical for our customers. For Chiquita, with 23,000 employees in 70 different countries, they've been a Workday customer since 2008. We'll talk about the importance of change with Kevin Holland, the Chief People Officer. We may have to change our organizational structures, he says. Our costs may suddenly change, or we may have to quickly relocate people, and having immediate access to information allows us to do that at the speed that our business moves. The adaptability and business intelligence that Workday delivers has really allowed us to be nimble as a company. In the last 30 minutes, we've shown you the power and the value of having one system of record for finance and HR. We focused on gaining insight to make better business decisions, and we've also focused on growth and enablement, not only for the business, but also for your individual employees. It's not only about hiring, it's about retaining your talent and keeping them engaged all the time. And of course, the exponential change is always upon us, and so we've built tools to support change across the enterprise. Thanks for taking the time to join us for Workday Now. Workday Now is one in a series of on-demand 30-minute product overviews available for our entire product suite, including human capital management, financials, and technology. Have a great week.